Welcome to Tea Time with Melanie. Hello, I am Melanie and I play Seraphina in our Dion Rising campaign for the Knights of D20. And today I am joined by John Paul, who plays Eidos.
I am John Paul. Sometimes call me JP. I play Eidos. He's a sorcerer, half drow elf, though I guess drow elves don't exist anymore or something. I don't know. I saw something about that today. Right in the comments. And yeah, I guess that's it. Did I say sorcerer?
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Great.
That
Yeah.
is accurate, yeah. So, all right, tell me a little bit more about Eidos and his character and how you came up with him.
Spent a lot of time coming up with him, and now it's completely gone. When I
Yeah?
was a kid, yeah. When I was a kid, I was a big music snob,
Mm-hmm.
and I would have this long list of bands that I wanted to buy CDs of. But as soon as you enter the CD store, you go blank, immediately blank.
Mm-hmm.
Call it the CD store syndrome.
Is that what's happening right now?
And that's what's happening right now. I've never played D&D in my life, but I'm pretty sure that Eidos Nawat is the noble son of a ruler of under the empire of kind of the queen that nobody likes in Kara's
Mm-hmm.
world, Dion.
Mm-hmm.
And he was having a real bad time. He had an older brother who was supposed to take his father's place, and then he died. So now Eidos was expected to take his turn on the throne after his father, passed it on or got murdered in battle.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of doing that, he ran away real fast after writing to his friend Seraphina, and saying, "Get me the fuck out of here." And yeah, so now we find ourselves in this continent, far away from home, and just trying to find a new family, a new place to be.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think that's what we're all looking for, both in the
it's life.
campaign and in real life. Yeah.
Isn't that true? Isn't that true?
So, how did you come up with the idea of Eidos?
I kind of just, I don't know. I kind of just like stumbled into it. It was a lot of, just imagine me like pacing around, it's like, oh, and then I could do this. No, that's stupid. Oh, well, what about this? But a lot of it happened because Bobby, when he was interviewing for this, players for the show, he said that they really needed a magic user, and I've never played a magic user in my life.
Really?
As you hardcore D&Ders probably know from watching me play a magic user. But yeah, so I knew I wanted to use a magic user, and that had little bearing on who Eidos is as a person, because I feel like he would have been the same way no matter what class he was.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I just wanted to play somebody kind of snotty. Usually, I play kind of gremlin-like characters or very like religious zealots. For those,
Oh,
those are my two
really?
wheelhouses. Yeah,
Okay.
I feel like there are two wolves inside of everyone, and those are the wolves inside of me. It's not. I'm great at parties, I guess. But yeah. So I just kind of stumbled my way into it. I was reading Kara's notes. She has beautiful notes created of all the different areas and the
Yes,
political
yeah.
structure, fucking full blown maps. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Um,
they're amazing. I don't
yeah,
know if the I don't know if we really shared those maps on stream, but I feel like we should, Kara. We should put those out.
yeah, yeah. Boko, for free. You don't have to monetize everything. But yeah, I kind of went shopping on these regions that she laid out, and one of them was this kind of evil empire situation, and I thought that it would be fun to just try somebody out from there. You know, I'm always interested in trying to play an unsavory evil character, but without being an asshole. And
Hmm.
I was like trying to figure out. It's like I want to be from this evil empire, but how do I do it without just being a murder hobo or contrary against the whole group? And I was like, oh, I'll just be a politician's son. It's the same thing. Yeah,
So
and it
what
worked
makes
out.
yeah, go ahead.
I said, and it worked out.
Oh, so what makes you drawn to being an evil character but not an asshole? Like what's appealing about that to you?
Well, it's just I don't know. For background information for everybody watching, though you probably figured out by now, I am not really a D&D person. I love to play D&D, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to do it all the time. I'm only in this show because I wanted to play more D&D so badly, but
Yeah.
I don't know anything. You put me in a room full of D&D heads, it's known in the biz. Um, just decided, and I will be worthless. I can't talk about this stuff. But conceptually, I thought that would be interesting to play an evil character because I've never seen it done before, which I've only played. This is like my third campaign ever,
Yeah.
and I've never heard of it being done without the person being abrasive against the other members of the party, especially if it's not
Yeah.
an all evil party.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be kind of especially in this climate that we're in, a lot of people are at ends, kind of a very polarized place
Yeah.
we're living in now. And so I was like, it kind of reminds me of that. It's like, what if you had this person who was thrust in with these other people of completely different types on the complete opposite end of some spectrum, even though Eidos is not that. This is just what I thought of at the beginning, and it kind of went when I actually had to put pen to paper. But yeah, long story short, that's why I wanted to play an evil character, just because that the duality of man or some bullshit like that.
In chat, I see. Now I really want to see him play a gremlin / goblin type character.
Yeah,
So
I actually tried out with one of my goblin characters. It wasn't an actual goblin. It was just like this really gross, the circle of spores druid. Just like this real nasty cave mushroom boy. But I was so bashful and scared and nervous that I didn't really get the nastiness out like it should have. But it worked out, so that's good.
Did you bring that to these, like, our one shots, or was that in a different campaign?
That's what I started off with. It's the character I'm playing right now in my in-person campaign. And Bobby,
is this your spore person?
Yeah, my spore person.
Yeah.
Bramble.
Bramble? Oh, that's cute.
Isn't it? Yeah. Doesn't make sense because there are no brambles in a cave, but let's not look into that. But yeah, Bobby told me to come in with a character that I was comfortable playing, and that's just who I already was playing, and so that's what I started off with. But like I said, I haven't had very many characters, so I haven't had a lot of chances to explore other avenues or different mindsets and personalities. So yeah, this is just an extension of that. I've made it a rule that I will never, until I run out of options, I'll never play the same class or race until I'm out of, class or species, 2024, until I'm out of them. And so far I've kept up with that. Yeah.
What makes you want to try out all of the species? Why did you have that rule for yourself?
Because I'm a completionist and a weirdo. Yeah.
You get an
and also,
achievement.
yeah. You go to the clothes store. You don't buy the first thing you try on. You try on all sorts of things and you see what fits you best or what you're into. Especially if I don't watch a whole lot of people play D&D. I feel like I just don't have time or maybe the mental capacity to take it all in. But so all the D&D I get is the D&D I play, and started in like 2019 playing, and I just played sparsely up until a couple of years ago, and then I was like, you know what, let's dive all the way in, because I was just having a really good time with it. And yeah, so now I'm just running through all the options until I find out who I am inside. Am I a gross mushroom druid, or am I a religious zealot? We'll see.
So from the characters that you've played so far, which one do you think you connect with or relate to the most?
This one, for sure.
Yeah?
For
Why
sure.
is that? Yeah, tell me more about that.
Yeah, the reason I connect with this one the most is because Bobby scared me.
Yeah. How so?
Yeah. Well, he made it competitive is what the problem is. And that's not a problem. It's a good problem to have. But he was like, come in with your A game, just do your best, play a character that you're comfortable playing. And then I know you're inching closer to the question of, how much of Eidos is me.
Yes, that is
and
where
I'm
we're
sorry.
leading.
Yeah, I can see you coming down. And the unfortunate answer is quite a bit. Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I would say all the bad parts. Yeah, the good parts not so much. That's all made up. No, it's just I just feel like there are a lot of similarities between Eidos and me, and of course it's because I put them in there. It's just like kind of nervousness around people. Difficulty connecting with others, that kind of thing. Looking for friends, looking for family.
Yeah.
Running away from blood family. I'm just kidding to any blood family members watching this. But yeah, just like I don't know, he's kind of a neurotic and petty person. I know I am too.
Yeah, is that how you see yourself?
Is that not how you see me? You don't think I'm neurotic?
I don't think so. You don't seem neurotic. I feel like everybody just always gushes about how witty you are.
No, 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 I don't know about that.
That is not
But
true. People put it in the chat because that is not true.
oh,
Every
that's for them to say, and I didn't say it. Y'all said it. They love me. They really love me. Um,
when we didn't have the audio on, people were like, "We need to hear what funny things he's saying."
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's funny more than zany. You know, it's like, but we'll see. If it works for others, then that's great. I've never really had an audience before, so we'll
Yeah,
find out.
I don't find it zany. It feels, I think people have described it as, oh, you have such a way with words and you're just very witty. I think that's how it's coming across.
I appreciate it. I'm glad that it's coming across like that instead of what I think is happening.
So, okay, how would you describe the good parts of Eidos?
Um, well, I think he's very compassionate. Part of the reason he left home is because he didn't want to continue the tyranny of his father. It's kind of the paying for the sins of your father type motif.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, he sees his people suffer under the hands of his father, and he doesn't want to, put on those gloves that are crushing them down. Um, and I'm basically like that. I'm the same way. No, I'm just like just having like basic compassion for humanity, and that setting him apart from perhaps others related to him, or like that he surrounds himself with that maybe don't spend as much time thinking about these aspects of life and people and and kindness. And so he left like a coward. Yeah. What was the other question?
Do you feel like that speaks to a part of you as well?
I certainly hope so. Yeah. Again, that's for other people to say, but I try to live my life like at least the good parts of Eidos, what little there are. But I think there are a lot of good parts of Eidos. We'll just have to explore them. Like I'm not the best actor in the world. I'm not the best improver in the world. So I'm kind of meeting Eidos along with everybody else. I feel like this last episode especially, everybody can kind of showcase their personality in big, big ways. Some of
Yeah.
them, some of them were already there. Everybody knows what Marrowway is about.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
Yeah.
like I have a good grasp. I feel like the listeners have to have a good grasp of exactly what he stands for, who he is, his personality. Bobby's doing a fantastic job with that, and the rest of
So
you too.
good. Yeah.
He's just winning. That's the only reason I mentioned him first. But yeah, but then there are players like me who are just like, I'm not really sure. I did have like a different image of Eidos when I first started. I thought he was going to be like a little bit different than the way he is now, but I'm kind of glad that it turned into this. It's like it's just it's an adventure for everybody, including for me with my own character. Yeah,
Yeah, I feel really similar about Serafina in that I think I also have a lot of trouble role playing. I think it's hard to step into a character. I think it's really hard. I don't have a lot of improv experience. I think I just have a lot of trouble expressing myself verbally, and it's
yeah, that's
it's
that's a
yeah.
huge thing for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
um, and I think that can be a roadblock and a boon. A bit, just build your character around the inability to express themselves around others. Make them have hard times making friends. Name them Eidos.
Mm-hmm. That was very wise of you.
Yeah, it's like a common adage or mantra in writing. You write about what you know,
Yeah.
and I do definitely know how difficult it is to speak to others, especially if you are constantly getting in the way of yourself and you don't really know how to you know, maybe that's not even know how to, because you said that about yourself, and I feel like you're way off the mark with it. I think that you're charming and you know exactly how to talk to people in a way that makes them feel comfortable and at ease. Like you're
Oh,
a good
thank you.
conversationalist, right? But I also know that what it's like to be inside the head that thinks that, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and that's the just getting in your way part. It's like this. because I know that you and hopefully me too, we have like this big thing to share, you know, through our characters and our ability to tell stories. And the only thing stopping us is are the roadblocks that we create for ourselves. But sometimes, like I was saying before, it can be like a boon or a problem. You know, art is only art because of the limitations set on it. If there are no limitations set on it, then it's just, you know, garbled, chaotic, you know, nothingness. So I say let the limitations that are our own minds, you know, just create the art for us. Does that make any fucking sense?
I think it does. I feel like for me it's hard because I feel like I'm unable to fully express who I imagine Seraphina to be because I feel like kind of like how you were talking about how Eidos might have trouble talking to people. I feel like I've somehow painted myself in a corner where Seraphina is supposed to be really charming and knows how to navigate socially, whereas I, as a person, do not. And I think it's I feel like I'm holding her back. So I think it's really hard, and I I would like to step up and rise to the challenge, and hopefully over time try to
Yeah,
improve. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You say that, and I disagree with you. Um, all I've seen Serafina do is seduce three people, tie them up willingly, and lead them off to her bedchambers where they were willing to do anything that she wanted because of how charming she was. So I don't really see it at all. But it's like you kind of get in the way of your own character, right? But
Yeah.
luckily, there are six of us,
Yeah.
seven of us if you count the DM,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so everybody's talking at the same time. So all we really have to do this is kind of what I do is like look for chances to insert yourself into what's happening and the conversation when you think that, oh, this is a time that this character I've made, or, you know, that I would say this, right? If anything, it takes the burden off of me personally because it's not just like a one-on-one conversation. Not saying that this is like that, but in like an unknown situation, if I was going to go into a bar and there was a shadowy cloaked figure sitting at the bar and then a
Yeah.
hand debonair bartender and they said, what do you do? I would, if it was me, I would just fucking leave. I would go home, put my soft socks on, and I wouldn't think about it anymore. But now that you are kind of being filtered through this kind of third party, you know, your own character, all of a sudden you can kind of fine tune your response to go through the filter of that character and act or be that character. And I think that you did a fantastic job of that. You know, it's just what was I don't know. It's just a vessel for your idea of who Seraphine is, if that makes sense. I forget that, but you know what I mean. I think you're doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to be vehicles for our characters to express themselves. And I think you're right. I think the group does help a lot. I would say Kara helps a lot. I think she
It does.
she throws a lot of softballs and helps to set the tone of what the reaction might be. And I think it's very easy to just receive that and add on to it or carry it forward. And so I feel like that takes a lot of the burden off myself. So I'm very thankful for Kara for doing that for me.
Absolutely. And me as well. She definitely makes it easy to interact with this world that we put ourselves into. Um, there's a lot going on with it, and there are a lot of reasons to keep moving forward or talk to the cool guard or the barnacle or barnacle.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's great because there's always an objective, whether it's like just a small objective, you know, talking to the handsome guard that's blocking you from the treasurer's office, you know, destroying a demon in a cave. It's always something to do. You know, there's not that like listlessness and you know, floating around of normal day, everyday life, right? We're just like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to make something of myself here. But then I think that's the cool part of D&D. It's like, I don't know, something that's cool about D&D. It's like it's a distillation of everything that is mundane and boring in real life distilled into just an action-packed, you know, just action-packed family fest, like friend fest, like just a story. I mean, I guess that's the same. That's true of like just all stories, books and TV alike. And I don't know, but with D&D, you actually get to write the story with somebody, and Kara does a fantastic job of being the narrator that fills in the blanks between the points where you speak.
Yeah. And I would also agree about the team too. I think it's the collaborative storytelling that you were talking about, and I think it's really special to create something. I think it's really magical to create something on your own, but I think when you're working with one person, it's even better. And then we have 7 people, and it's really fun to see how we're all learning each other, because I think we're all new to each other, and it's really interesting to see all of us grow and become more comfortable. And I think you mentioned that last episode in particular. I did feel like everybody had their moment, and I think that made it feel really, really special.
Yeah, that was a fantastic episode. It's probably my favorite one so far. Sorry, it's like 95 degrees in here. I'm not trying to show off or anything.
They
Probably
like
see I'm
it.
sweating. Good, yeah. Give the people what they want. You want storytelling and you want sex? Well, Dion Rising. Show up every Monday. Yeah. No, the last episode was just fantastic. Um, it was. I think that one of the reasons I liked the last episode, besides watching all of you be yourselves and these
Mhm.
characters created, was I felt like actually invested in both Eidos and what was going on. It was I don't know. There was less of that barrier between me and my character in the last episode, and I
Mm.
think a lot of that is because we're getting more that I'm getting more comfortable with everybody else, more comfortable with the story, more comfortable with D&D, and perhaps being on camera. Um, but yeah, and I think we're just at a point in the story where there are some real stakes. We're starting to get some story beats from Killian, especially. He's very exciting to me. I want to see what happens with that. But
Yeah.
but also Serafina and her new role as a mother. And just like everybody's got something cool going on, and it just draws you in. It draws me in. And I just kind of want to live there and be Eidos in that story, just to figure out what's going to happen next and hang out with my new friends. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like you did a really good job reacting to the situations, like especially with Serafina. And I think because you carried the moment so well, I felt like it was a little bit easier for me too as well. So I think, yeah, I was really thankful in how well you did.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, that's again in last episode. I feel like there are a lot of situations like that. It's like, as we get more comfortable as a characters with each other, we
Yeah.
start building this rapport, this back and forth, where we can live in this space together, mentally. And then more moments like that can happen, you know, instead of just, you know, pregnant pauses as people wait for the other to speak. Everybody has something to say at any time, and we're just
Mm-hmm.
wondering, like, oh, if nobody's got anything going on, then I'll start expounding this. um I can feel that going on. And I think that's really cool. It's like it fleshes out the characters and makes them seem more real in this story instead of just a character sheet full of numbers.
Yeah, I did notice for like our beginning few episodes, you were the one to kind of push things along when we had those moments when the role play kind of died down. Eidos was always one to be like, all right, time to go.
Yeah.
What are we
um
doing? Pull it together.
well, I think, yeah, I don't know. Thanks. I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but there's you can kind of sense those pauses, right? Sometimes a pause works well. It builds tension and it builds an energy between two characters or a situation at hand, right?
Hmm.
And sometimes a pause happens because you don't know what you want to order and you're at the head of the line and you're starting to panic and you're just like, should I get a wrap? And and then but at some point you just got to keep going, right? So I feel like maybe maybe the one skill I have is being able to see those pregnant pauses because I've been listening to them a lot coming from my own mouth from my whole life. So I know what they look like, and I think it's good for the storytelling to keep that beat, to always be doing something, and unless and also being able to recognize when a pause is worth it when we're all supposed to be sitting at this kitchen table together and exchanging some story. The
Yeah.
perfect I think so far the perfect example of one of these pauses that are worth it was when Zada knocked on Killian's door. We all sat
Yes.
5 minutes and listened to them go back and forth. And it was cool because there was this lead up to it where they were sort of developing a connection organically by training
Mm-hmm.
together in the morning. They,
Yeah.
yeah, apart from the rest of us. And
Yeah.
kind of by doing so, like, I don't know if it was unbeknownst to them, but it felt more real when you finally showed up as doorstep. It wasn't forced, it wasn't planned or anything like that. They were training together. So, just like making new friends, making new family and teammates, which I think we all are. Uh, it was really cool to see him show up and have Zada have a vested interest in Killian's well being.
Well-being, yeah.
Yeah, so that was a cool example of uh, a pause that was worth it. We gotta work on that phrase, trademark something.
Well,
But
how would you name the phrase?
uh, um, maybe I don't know, a narrative pause,
A narrative pause. Okay. I
a
like
po-
that.
a positive. Fuck, that's already a word. Shit. I don't know. I don't know. We'll think something. But yeah, yeah, I fear pauses in shows. Yeah, I had a podcast with my family for a couple of my family members for like 3-4 years,
Yeah.
and yeah, and I was much more eloquent on that than I am on this. But in that, I think I learned when it was time to move on to the next joke, right?
How do
So
you, yeah, so teach me the technique that you use to move things along and or just close. Like how do you approach that? Because I actually don't know. And I just let things linger until it's really awkward and then we just fade away.
it's hard to do, man. I can't do it in real life. I feel like, but if you put it in a podcast when you can't see my face, then it's a lot easier. Um, don't remember that I said this when I'm on your podcast with Kara. But but some of the key signs of people who need to move on is nodding, slow
Yeah,
nodding.
you keep agreeing. You're like repeating the same thing and you just kind of
Yeah,
you're saying the same
repetition.
thing over and over again. You're like
Yes. Nodding and repeating. Repeating is good up until you get to the third time. If you don't say something different on the third time, you're just repeating,
it's done.
right?
Okay. Yeah.
It's the comedy rule of threes. You say the first two things to establish a base for the joke. The
Yeah.
third one is the punchline. If it's the third thing is the same as the first two, you gotta move on. The joke's dead. It's over. It's floating, and you move on to the next thing. Um, that's a big one. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know how did I become an expert in this all of a sudden. Why you ask me questions? But I feel like I set myself up for it though. But but yeah, that I would say that, and as soon as you're bored with the conversation,
Mm.
half of the other people are bored, if not all of them. So as well, as long as you are the kind of person who doesn't get bored easily, if
Hmm.
nothing interesting is being said and if nothing of value is happening in the conversation or situation, then it's time to move to the next beat. And I forget what writer said it. Um, some writer said that they like to write up until the point where they've written like 80 to 90% of everything they have to say for the day, but you never write until you're extinguished because then you have nothing to carry over in the next day, right? And these conversations are the same way. Just like if you expel 100% of everything you have to say, what's left at the end? But one of those. So, you know, I don't know. It's kind of fun, I guess, to boil down all human interaction into an algorithm.
It reminds me of something that I heard once about like writing an essay, which is it's like a skirt. Like you want it to be long enough to cover what's important, but short enough to keep
Oh,
things interesting.
that's beautiful. I love that. And it's true. So it's like brevity is the soul of wit. It's
Yeah.
absolutely true. It was true back then. and it's true now. It's always going to be. It's just, I don't know, something about human nature and our. Um, sometimes I like to think of like, would aliens follow these same rules? Do aliens give a fuck about the comedy rule of threes or yes anding or brevity? They probably have really bad senses of humor in the way that we speak. So it's like we've all, as a human race, agreed on what makes a conversation interesting, what makes something funny, and what's something that we can all connect to. Like obviously we all have our little stylistic differences, our idiosyncrasies that makes us like, some of us like metal and we get very weepy when they reach the crescendo of metal, and some of us like pop music and we just want to dance. But at the end of the day, we're all, looking for that same just connection to something bigger, I think. A story to tell.
Yeah, I kind of wonder these like rules that you're starting to outline. I wonder how much of it is cultural and how much they shift between cultures. Like, do you think this is
You think?
oh yeah, like is this like American or like a Western culture
I
thing?
don't know. I think we'll have to work on our type 5, take it to Bulgaria, see how far it is. I don't know. I can't speak for other cultures. All I can speak for is my own experience and
Yeah.
and people who can stand to be around me. You know, because if you can, then maybe we're of the same philosophy on these things, right? But it would. I mean, it would almost have to be different. But I don't know. You'll watch these documentaries. It's like people in Sudan, and they're like planting crops, and they're all telling dick jokes. I saw this like years and years ago, and it always stuck with me. Like I don't know if it was Sudan, but the guys would walk in front, poke a hole in the ground with big sticks, and then the women in the back would come and put seeds in the ground and cover it up. Right? It was just like a
Yeah.
kind of assembly line way of doing it, and they were just telling dick jokes the entire time.
That's so
And I was like,
funny.
so I think there are some universal human truths, right? We all think that farts are funny. We all think that dick jokes are funny. And we all love love, right? We all love humor. Whether what that humor looks like to you may be different from culture to culture, but at the end of the day, we're just here to fart around and, love each other. It's like that's the metalhead versus the pop star.
Yeah, do you think that having that perspective of it's like a bigger picture perspective, do you think that helps you appreciate different things? Like, for example, in your analogy, like, do you think you can appreciate both metal and pop?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think that I'm multifaceted like everybody else. Some
Hmm.
people have stronger preferences and they only like one thing. Um, but I like a whole bunch of different things. But I think that when you see somebody very, very passionate about one thing, which I am
Mm,
not, I'm
yes,
I'm
yeah.
I'm all over the place. I'm scatterbrained and I'm spread too thin at all times. But when you see somebody really hone in on something, that's what's exciting, and that's what I kind of like. I like talking to people and sifting through their bookshelves and looking at their playlists and all stuff like that, just to see what it is that they're so passionate about that they would spend so much time on, right? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that stuff really excites me. And as far as like the human connection aspect of it too, something that I love about D&D, probably my favorite thing about D&D, uh, watching the other players, and hopefully I can take part in it sometimes too, but it feels more like work when I do it. Of course, because I'm talking, so it makes sense. But watching other players like connect with the story and connect with situations presented by the DM and
Mm-hmm.
and other characters, and their seeing their humanity filtered through these characters that they've created, and just really connect to other people. It's like I forget what conversation it was that we were having, but it was I think it might have been you and Dan on the last a couple tea times ago. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that Zada and Killian would have connected in real life, or was it just a way for these two grown dudes to connect with each other in a game because that filter was there to allow those feelings to, filter through and
Mm-hmm.
meet and actually
Yeah.
interact with each other? It's like that's what I mean about the whole getting in the way of yourself kind of thing. In this, on the grand play stage of D&D, we can all just like play out these feelings and have them interact with each other and make these fake but eventually real relationships with each other. And it's just cool to see how people interact with each other when you add that element to it, right? um I don't know, I'm probably rambling probably this whole thing, but yeah,
No, no, you
it's
brought
just
up, yeah, you brought up a lot of good points. I think part of what's interesting is the fact that we are all new to each other, and the interactions that we have with each other as characters, it feels like we're becoming closer as people through them as well. So I feel like that's very special in a way.
absolutely, yeah. I mean, and there is no art without the artist, right? All these
Yeah,
characters are extensions of ourselves in some way. um so yeah, we none of us knew each other before this. I believe
right.
that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's true.
We were a few months ago, we were complete strangers. And then we
Mm-hmm.
all met on I met Bobby on Reddit. I don't even know
Mm-hmm.
where everybody else met. And then we got together and we said, "Hey, let's do this thing where we hang out nearly every other day and at least once a week we come together and just like friends who have been around each other for 10 years do, play this somewhat intimate game with each other, because this is an intimate game we're playing, I think.
Yeah.
I've played with strangers before, and it always starts off with, it's like more mechanics, battles, and things like that. And we're just like farting around and causing scenes, kind of murder hobo stuff.
Yeah.
But this group dove right into the emotional investment aspect of it. It's like you and I didn't even know each other, and we are just like, we're brother and sister. Now we have to act like it.
Yeah.
And and Bobby and Robin have created this like inseparable connection to each other in game
So
two.
beautiful.
It is beautiful, and they pulled it off, right?
Oh my
But we didn't know each
gosh.
other. We're all perfect strangers and who I've never met, but we threw ourselves in the deep end, and I think that all of you have done a fantastic job of it, of not only tricking the viewer and the listener into thinking that we've all been best friends for 10 years, but convincing it to yourselves as well, right? Because, I mean, I don't know, I can see a lot of connections happening, just friendships happening, families blooming, that kind of shit. Not to get all sappy, but it's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing, and it's all because of dice.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I think the type of play that we're engaging in, I've never played at this depth before, and yeah, it makes me feel extremely vulnerable. And I think seeing a player like Bobby is really amazing to behold, because witnessing him create the character of Marway and embodying him, he brings a level of vulnerability that I had never even really considered bringing to the table. I would never even want
I
to
think that
do that.
I would love to do that.
Yeah,
I'm envious of his ability to do that on such
yeah,
a
exactly.
real level. And something that's amazing about it is like if anybody else had done it, not in this group, but in another group, I
Hmm.
I'm a kind of negative person. I'll admit that. I see things cynically. I would have assumed that they're hamming it up, but that they've seen too much Critical Role, that they've seen
Mm,
these professional actors play D&D, that they're just trying to emulate that. But I think that it's a real thing with
it
Bobby. I think
is,
they've done
yeah.
a fantastic job, and that he's poured himself into it. You can really tell. And the same goes for everybody else too. There's a big piece of everybody and all the characters that they've created. And I think that if you can see that, and I think that all of us can, I think that we're all very like nice people, at least y'all. And like if you could see that, then you would want to respond with the same energy, right? And so seeing Bobby do that, seeing Killian put his all in his super cool guy, and seeing Bula with her fucking hilarious country stories, and yeah, and seeing just watching everybody, um, it makes me want to be a better player as well, right? It makes me want
Yeah,
to take this more seriously.
yeah, exactly. I think before I saw that it was a possibility to dig really deep into who I am as a person, I would have never even conceptualized that until I saw Bobby do it, and it raised my awareness as to what could be possible through role play in Dungeons and Dragons, because in my mind it was just, oh yeah, we're just hanging out and having fun, and we're exploring like a fantasy story. And yeah, I think seeing that makes me realize that that's even possible, and that something even like that exists. And yeah, I agree. Like seeing everybody role play so well makes me want to be a better player. I think so. I do think that role play is a growth point for me, and I love the feeling, not just here, but just in general. I think the best feeling is being surrounded by people who are stronger than you, and you're the weakest person in the room, right? Because you get to see this whole range of possibilities of where you can take things that I had never even considered, and it forces you to be better very, very quickly. And I think the worst feeling is being the strongest person in the room, because you're just carrying this whole band of people.
That's funny that you say that. I've always said that you never want to be the smartest person in
Yeah.
your friend group, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know, you just want to surround yourself with people who are going to make you better, make you grow, make you see things that you've never,
Yeah.
from a direction that you've never seen before. And yeah, I think this group is fantastic for that. And I think that each of us are different enough in certain ways and certain aspects that it will always be that way depending on which aspect you're looking at. Whether it's, intelligence, emotional intelligence, or just being fucking funny or being nice. It's like, I think that when you have a good group of people like this, you're all pulling each other in, such across in every single direction into being better all around people, and I sometimes forget that we're talking about a fucking board game,
I
but
know.
it's true. It's true. It's like it's just a way to come together with people and grow, I think. And I think that this group in particular has made me grow. One of the reasons I played D&D in the first place was because I'm just very, very nervous around people, so
Hmm.
I try to force myself to do things that make me uncomfortable with almost every decision in my life, which is easy because everything makes me uncomfortable. And D&D is one of them. And signing up for this made me uncomfortable too, which is how I knew that it was a good thing to do.
Yeah, I feel like I live by a similar philosophy, in that I am so familiar with feeling like I'm just making a fool out of myself that I'm kind of just used to it.
Yeah,
And
that's so very true. If you're always embarrassed, you can never get embarrassed,
yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
You just you realize that you're bulletproof. It's like nobody can hurt me. So you do whatever you want at that point. And plus, it's like my mom always said that if you knew how little people thought about you, then you wouldn't care at all. And I think that's really true. Nobody gives a shit. I've never looked on you and say, "Huh, she's doing weird stuff." Like I don't do that with anybody. But yet, in my head, everybody is doing it to me. And I imagine that maybe some people who are watching feel the same way, right? But nobody is watching, and if they are watching, it's because you're doing cool ass shit, and they want to see more of it. That, or they're haters, and they're doing you a favor by letting you know that they're haters, and doing you the favor of not having to get to know them. And you could say,
Yeah.
bye bye, just me and this cool group of people who are all together just to watch each other, mess around and have a good time and be genuine. It's a rare thing.
Yeah, I feel like the group that we have is really, really interesting, because I feel like everyone's very uncommonly welcoming and kind, and just
Yeah.
very open-minded. And I think it feels like a very safe space to make mistakes. And I think a mark of a good friendship is feeling like if you do something weird, you know that your friend is going to try to see what you're doing in the best light possible. They're not going to attribute something as like you're purposefully trying to be weird or mean, but they'll try to see you in the best light.
Or think that you fell outside the constructs of this relationship and interaction that we're supposed to have. Because weird, I mean, the weird, when people do weird things, they're only
Yeah.
weird because they don't fit within the confines of something that's been set out already, right?
Hmm.
If you play outside the lines of what is normal, then it is weird, you know? So therefore, just pick people who are open-minded and don't have such strict, like non-permeable lines of what is normal, right? It's not weird, it's just not you, right? And neither is this person, and you can all share something together, just by, not being critical of what is weird or normal or something that you don't understand, right?
Yeah, I think I've definitely felt like the weirdo or the outsider or just like the odd person out. And so I think because of those experiences, I have a very high tolerance for things that I don't understand. And I think the inclination is wanting to understand. And I think I'm able to be friends with people that I disagree with. And I feel like that seems to be really common in the people in our group, and I think that's why it feels like such a safe and welcoming place.
Yeah. You think it's common for us to listen to things we disagree with,
Hmm,
or
I I
just
I don't know how many things that we disagree with, but I feel like if there were a disagreement, except for, okay, I will say the best thing to see is Bobby and Royal argue with each other about like the most specifically nerdy things that I don't
oh
understand.
god, it's like I don't understand either
Yeah,
side of it. Yeah, it's like
it's so good to see them just get really heated. She's like, "You're wrong." No.
oh well, that's healthy
Yeah, yeah,
disagreement.
I love that.
Yeah,
No, my
yeah.
favorite thing is getting in extremely heated arguments about petty things that don't matter
Always
at
my
all.
favorite. Yeah,
Oh my
I,
gosh.
I love it. I'm the most pedantic person you'll ever meet, and I will argue something down to the very detail.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I gotta
it's
break
great.
it down to every layer.
Now here's why you're wrong and I am right.
Yeah.
It's an objective truth.
But I feel like if there were things that we disagreed on, I feel like everybody in the group would still be really welcoming and try to understand perspectives. And I feel like we could all still be close and friends and just understand and respect the differences that we have. That's the feeling that I get from everybody.
For sure, for sure. I feel like that as well. I also think that we lucked out. I think that yeah, I don't think that anybody has some, philosophical ideations or sorry, political ideations that the rest of the party is going to disagree with. If they are, then you're doing a very good job of hiding it. But
Oh no, are you frozen? Let me look at stream. I think you're frozen on stream too, and I don't know how to chat you. Let me get on my phone. Because I don't think I can change my Discord because of OBS. He's a bit frozen on stream. That is how I see it too. Let me message on Discord. Oh, I think you're back. Hello? Can you hear me?
what, if my voice is still here, then that works for me. Maybe.
Yeah, I think you're slowly melting and becoming unfrozen.
Okay, that's good news. Yeah,
Okay, you were saying I think we lucked out.
yeah. I think that we're all pretty well aligned as people. Um, Thank you, Kara. She said it was frozen. Um, I think we're all pretty well aligned as people. I don't think there are any major outliers, so it's all going to be like minor differences like that, and that's just like being friends. You're not going to agree about everything.
Robin's like, would it be hilarious if you're just sitting there and super still just trolling?
I should have done that. Next time I'm on here, I'm going to do that. You won't be able to tell it until a little cat tail starts wagging behind me. But yeah, I don't know. That put us off track. So, what do you think about the campaign so far, Melanie?
Hmm. I really did love the last episode. I'm so excited about Dark Down. What excites me most is
Oh my
that
God.
it seems like not everybody has the same feelings about Dark Down, and
Yeah.
that excites me. I like it when there's a disagreement
Yeah,
brewing.
talk about disagreements. Yeah, I think that this might create a chasm between Serafina and Eidos
Oh
because
my
I'm not
gosh.
into it.
Tell me more. Okay, I need to
Tell me more.
know.
Kara told you everything that you needed to know. How disgusting and creepy this creature was. How could anybody love it?
I need to
I just
know.
can't.
Okay, I need to know specifically. Is this Eidos or is this John Paul who feels this way? Because don't you think she's kind of cute
Okay,
in like a
no,
little
that
creepy little way? Oh my
both
gosh.
Eidos and me think this creature is not cute at all. I think that I would be more sympathetic toward this creature, but Eidos is a very, very petty person, and I don't know. I think that's it. Isn't that enough? He's he's horrible. I was gonna say he's not used to seeing such bad things, but I just spent the first half of this podcast talking about the bad things he was watching. But yeah, I think that he's just uncomfortable. I think that he's led a pampered life in a castle and in bars where everybody is paid to love him, and now he's in a sewer with a very, very, very creepy something, and he just doesn't know how to handle it. So I think that's Eidos, not me. I would give it a chance. I guess it's not cute. You're wrong about
It's
that.
so cute. Her like creepy little
What's cute about
smile.
it? Her little fast jumps toward the fire. Is that really get you?
It's adorable in a creepy way. I think I was obviously really creeped out. I thought at any moment she was gonna be like, "Oh yeah, roll for initiative. We're gonna fight and kill this little creature."
I thought at any moment one of us was going to punch her in the face, and then we would get told to roll initiative. I'm surprised I didn't do it, but I don't think that Eidos is a punch first, ask questions later
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
person. But
That's Sada.
if yeah, that's Sada. But if he was, it would have been with this particular creature because of how disgusting she was. Yeah,
So what do you
Carrot did an amazing job.
yeah, what do you think is so objectionable? Is it because of how ugly it is? And just
Oh
like a
wow,
little creepy?
what a loaded question. Um, yeah, it's very creepy. It scrawls with extended fingers that turn into nails, as though there
That's
were
not
no
her
fingernail.
fault.
It's not her fault. It's not her fault. What is her fault is that she uses them to scratch her little messages on the wall, dark down, over and over again in kitchenettes and caves. It's antisocial behavior, and I won't stand for it.
Is it
I don't know.
antisocial? Okay, hold on. Let's take a minute because
Is it antisocial uh to fucking metamorphosize into a creepy one-eyed lady? Well, I guess
whoa! Whoa! Okay, yeah.
what part of that did you take offense to? That's all those things are true.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you just referenced the metamorphosis, and that's all about that guy turning into against his will. He didn't
Against
choose
as
this
well.
life.
I set myself up here, didn't I? Yeah, that sucks. Um, all right, well,
Spot
I guess
on,
I'll
spot
have a
on.
heart. Well, Eidos hasn't read that book, and but yeah, it did essentially happen to her. But now she's this, if everybody, I forget the guy's name, but if everybody around the big cockroach is society, then Eidos is society looking upon this, transformed, jelly-eyed, creepy lady who hops and is made of muscle and tendon. She's she's pretty creepy. But yeah, you're right. I guess I should be more open. I think you've changed my mind about old Dark Down here. With a name like Dark Down, what's not to love? Down.
I guess I kind of feel like, okay, so you're talking about the way she's scrawling on the wall, but I think from her perspective, she has been consumed by this obsession that we don't understand, right?
Mhm.
And so it's really not her fault that that's all she can really think about or
Yeah,
express.
that's true. But if you play with fire, you do get burned. And she's got her fingers in Ashtar's butter. Or Astar? How do you say the god's name?
I do not know.
Astar, something like that. She's about to type it in the chat.
Yeah,
But
Kara, what's the
yeah.
pronunciation?
But yeah, I mean, can't handle the heat. Get out of the demonic kitchen.
I guess I think Serafina. Damn, that moment when she like poured that water on herself was like clean. I'm like, oh my god, Serafina likes to be clean
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Maybe this is just a misunderstood person. All that talk about like acceptance and having open minds. Now,
Yeah,
when put to the test, I
yeah.
fail. Wow. Damn. Damn.
How does that feel?
It feels good to be wrong for once. I don't know. No, it's you're right. You're right. Maybe I'll treat Dark Down with more respect and open-mindedness. And when she um, tries to kill us in our sleep when we're traveling with her to the south, then I will completely change my mind back to where it was.
But the thing is like, okay, from her perspective, why would she kill us in our sleep? Because we're helping her achieve her goal, right? That
Yeah,
doesn't
I
make
mean,
any sense.
no, no, it doesn't make any sense. Neither does it make sense for this truth telling, this deep, dark secret telling gelatinous eye person who sees beyond your face and into your mind's eye to draw out what you trapped deeply inside and
Hmm.
tell the rest of the party about it. Really rude. Uh, living in a sewer, hiding behind basilisks while they eat shadow people, shadow agents, excuse me. But you know what? Maybe she's, really compassionate. Maybe she just wants to watch The Price is Right with somebody. Who
I
knows?
mean, I feel like some of the descriptions are unfair because you're saying she's living in a sewer. Okay, technically true, all right. But also people are looking for her, so she's in hiding. Okay, where would you go?
I would hide in the sewer.
Tell me,
Yeah,
tell me
and I
where.
would probably write creepy shit on the wall so people would stop bothering me. I think that you did two things with this. I think that you made me see the world in a whole new light, and I thank you for that. And I also think that you solved Kara's puzzle because you're right. Yeah, she just kind of is doing her own weird thing, and now she's being hunted down. She dove maybe a little too deep in the sauce of this whole, magic stuff, and now she's paying the consequences. But you're right. It's like a whole, it's just like real people. Wow. I feel like I've grown a lot from this. So now I don't have to issue a public apology to everybody watching.
Yeah, now you don't have
This
to
is
embarrass yourself next episode with your prejudice.
Yeah, it's just me looking straight at the camera and saying, "Guys, I messed up and I apologize." I learned on the spot. So okay, yeah, you're totally right. I honestly don't have any argument against that. She's probably on level. However, she's super fucking creepy, and she might be my best friend. All right, I'll
Yeah,
yeah, I'll give you
yeah.
that compromise. Sometimes your best friend creeps you the hell out, but you still go to brunch.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? It's not
Yeah,
their fault they look creepy.
that's so true. That's so true. Well, um, I have some theories about what's going to happen in the future, and I'm
Yes,
excited to see if
tell me.
those. Oh, are we okay?
Yes,
Um,
dish, dish.
dish. All right, Kara, don't make a face if any of this is true. Um, I think that it's CD source syndrome all over again. Um, I also thought something else until you did this whole dark down thing and messed me up. But I think we're all going to go down to the South City. I think that we're going
Mhm.
to do some zany shit that Kara's not prepared for because we've been talking to him in this secret chat. I looked at that. I'm looking at you, Kara, and we have some weird plans for you. So get to get
That
ready
you
to
were
write.
leading, I will say.
Huh?
You led that.
I what?
You led
I
the
led it?
chat. Yeah, in
Oh,
our weird plans. You laid out the plan.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
proud of it too.
Yeah.
There's too much scary stuff. What doing like hanging out where she wants us to go. So we're gonna do something else, maybe. I don't know. We'll leave it up to a vote. But I don't know. I kind of talked a big game. We're gonna go down south. Something's gonna be down there. It's gonna transform this woman back to the way that she was supposed to go, or the
Hmm.
way that it was before, and then she'll give us the big secret as to what the. Do we have again the devil's name, or is it just the devil? Is it the shadow?
I don't know if we have a specific name.
Yeah, I don't know if
Not
it's
that
the
I can
shadow.
recall. Yeah, maybe I don't
I've
know
always
if its name's like Dane. Like maybe Dane knows the name
maybe
of
Dane knows.
the
Yeah.
or
Because I kind of
Killian.
assumed that the shadow was a a name that the devil was giving to just like the blight that was spreading throughout the city, spreading until it takes over.
Oh, it's like a
You know,
phenomenon.
yeah,
Okay.
like an evil force, like my
Yeah.
influence is
Yeah.
spreading like a shadow
A
over the city.
shadow. Okay, okay, okay.
But maybe there's a dude named Shadow that we have to kill. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I think we'll just return back to Zankin stronger and have to kick whatever's ass is up there.
Okay, okay. So you think we're gonna
Yeah,
leave and then we're gonna come back?
I
Or
think that.
return?
Oh yeah, for sure we're gonna come back because I think we're gonna go down there and change Dark down to Eureka because we've established that
Eureka,
Dark
yeah.
down is Eureka, right?
Eureka, yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna change her back to her former self. I was gonna say normal, but it's former self. Dark downs are people too. Um, and then yeah, she's gonna give us the big reveal. Kara's gonna speak for 15 minutes with music in the background, and it's gonna be fantastic, right? And then we're gonna go back to Tizank and face the person who's been in front of us this whole time, and they're the cause of all this. And I guess we met like 3 people, so I guess it's gonna be Cool Guard. I'm sorry, Serafina.
No!
That's right, Seraph.
No,
Cool
Karen,
Guard's been
no!
behind the whole thing.
Karen, no!
So am I cool or am I hot? And flames burst out of his eyes as he makes us roll for
Why are you
initiative.
giving her ideas? Why don't you do
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what's going to go on, but I'm excited to see what is TM on Cool Guy turning into Hot Guy, though.
that? I'm really
Um,
curious. I feel like we do need to bring him back, and I don't know. That would be very sad for me. I hope I don't have to kill Colgard. No, I don't want that.
well, maybe that's just a part of your path to walk. That's how you gain the knowledge needed to continue on and become the person you're supposed to be. You killed the first guy you have crush on in town.
I'm
Sometimes it's
not
gotta
ready
happen.
for that. I'm not ready for that.
You're not ready to let go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so far you spent a lot of winkless nights looking up at night skies and thinking about what could be with Cool Guard. Which, by the way,
Yeah.
how many people are watching this?
5.
So everybody watching knows that the Cool Guard's name is Cool Guard.
Yeah.
I don't have to explain
He
any of
doesn't
that.
have a real name.
No, well, he does have a real name.
It's Colgard.
It's cool, or it's Guard, comma cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the way that Serafina has navigated some of the situations had surprised me. I didn't initially set out to be to have some of the characteristics that she had. Like I didn't know she was going to be so flirty until Kara started flirting with me, and then I was like, okay, I guess that's what we're doing. And then it
Sometimes
just,
you gotta feel it when you get there. Yeah.
yeah, it occurred, and that was all I could do. So yeah, I feel like some of the things that have happened and some of the ways that Serafina have reacted were a surprise to me, and I think that might be one of the more interesting things to experience is having your character do things that you hadn't expected.
Yeah, kind of take a life of their own and
Yeah.
kind of leave your own character behind a little bit. It's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Have you experienced that with Eidos at all?
Um, maybe a little bit with whatever suaveness he has or confidence. I would say
Yeah.
confidence is key there. Yeah. Um, definitely acts in ways that I personally would not act. I would not. I don't think I would try to control a conversation as much as Eidos tries to.
Mm.
Unless I've been doing it this whole time, and then nobody messaged me about it, please. I'm unaware, but he does it confidently, and that's different.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So do you feel like the confidence that he has is something that you would like for yourself? Is that something you're trying to manifest for yourself?
Um. Honestly, I feel like I used to have this. Yeah, I feel
Really?
like
That's so interesting. What? That's a
yeah,
very strange statement.
it is strange. I feel like every year that passes, I kind of crumble more. Not in a depressing way. Nobody write me any letters or anything like that. but it's just like I kind of lose my shit a little bit more every single year. But yeah, it's like, and this isn't like a golden year thing, but like in your early 20s, like hell yeah, everybody's more confident. You're like, you're 22, you're an idiot who's overconfident and invincible. So of course you're going to maybe move more naturally. I'm speaking for myself. Obviously, this isn't a universal truth, but yeah, I think that Eidos is a little bit of me when I was 22 with that kind of honest,
Mm.
arrogant confidence, um,
Mm-hmm.
which I've had to like kind of shove down and put into a neat little jar and throw into a river somewhere. Yeah, but so yeah, I'd say there's a little part of that. I would like a little more confidence. I mean, who wouldn't, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so but you want confidence but not arrogance. That's the nuance.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The arrogance I'm cool with letting die. I used to be a more
Mm-hmm.
arrogant person, I would say for sure.
Interesting.
Just elitist scum. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. But I mean, as long as you live with open heart, open mind, and if you live with an open heart and open mind, then that leaves things to punch you through, and then you learn a lesson, and then you realize that's not a good thing to do those kinds of things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just life lessons. Everybody's different when they're younger, right? Unless were you when you were younger?
Hmm.
I feel like we started off in this like weird metaphysical space, and then we accidentally started talking about D&D in the campaign, and I just made us nose bomb right back into it. But
We're actually just coming full circle.
full circle
So it's
back
very
to
satisfying.
zany stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
But
we have a raider from Good King 205 and a first time chat from Raider. Hello.
hello, welcome. This is not our normal show. This is a show behind the show. So we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff you're not familiar with. But catch us on 7 Central on Mondays on this channel.
Yes, that's accurate. I'm so bad. We need Bobby. Bobby, plug our stuff.
Yeah, it's the time zone because we all live in different time zones. So I'm used to thinking in the Eastern time for y'all, but it's
Yeah,
7 Central. I guess I
yeah.
could have just said 8 Eastern, but whatever. Welcome. That's the point. I don't know why I'm talking to my phone. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, were you
Coming full
you when you were
circle.
younger?
I feel like at the heart of myself, I feel like I've been relatively consistent in the way that I approach things. Is that so boring? I feel like
Oh, it's not boring.
I have changed. I think what I've realized is maybe it's less of an evolution and more of realizing how I react to certain situations and the person that I can become when when there's like different variables in my life and trying to mold my life in a way where like the people that I surround myself with, I think just seeing who I can be with certain people makes me realize more the type of people that I want to surround myself with and what I want to avoid. So I think it's just seeing different sides of myself in different situations. I think that's kind of more how I perceive it rather than, oh, I'm changing through time.
Yeah, I mean, I think another word for that is growth. I think that a lot of people don't gain self-awareness as they get older. They just kind of like burrow deeper, deeper down into whatever hole that they, were born atop of. But some people grow into this beautiful flower, beautiful tree, whatever you want. So yeah, you either grow or wither, and the hope, you surround yourself with people that grow with you, and then you're a beautiful forest or a rose garden. But I hear what you're saying too. It takes a lot of work to like kind of take a step back and see yourself from a third person like that, and realize that you're reacting to outside stimuli like that, and you know whether or not it's a good or bad thing is just situational, I think. But but yeah, I think that I used to have a lot like that too. Maybe more inward focus, like how I was reacting and like processing and storing information or just like experiences or people inside of me. And looking back on it now and realizing that those were like dark spaces and that I probably should have filed them under like don't give a shit. That's growth. I think that's part of life. Is just like learning how to process everybody else's bullshit, and figuring out how to not be a part of everybody else's bullshit that they receive. And also, my favorite dice is probably the D12.
Why is that?
Totally. I can never find the D12. I was just bringing it back to D&D in a very organic manner.
Yeah. Because I do recall, was it last session that you mentioned that you rolled the D12?
D12 for the first time in my life, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure, anyway.
I remember.
Yeah. I remember. Steel trap. But yeah, it's cool. And I think that if you learn how to deal with people enough, and you work on yourself enough, and you grow enough, then someday you'll meet a whole bunch of people who have been on similar paths and have grown into pretty badass D&D players. And then you all find each other on the internet. It turns into a beautiful thing called Dion Rising, 7 o'clock Central on Mondays.
Thank you, Kara. Watch Dion Rising episode 10 on Mondays at 7 CST, or check out the previous episodes on YouTube.
Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Smash that like button. Got a lot of hot content coming this way. We got book club, we got tea time with Melanie, we got Dion Rising, we've got Int Mod Pod, we've got casting friendship,
and with caramel
with caramel.
You named that. That was too perfect.
It was right there. I saw Kara, Melanie, and I said chocolate peanut butter, and so it's easy. But yeah, we got a lot of content going on. It's kind of crazy how excited and productive you all are. I feel like I don't do enough, but it's fun to watch you guys do it. Yeah,
I feel like we've been putting a lot of energy into things, and I'm really excited to see how things are going to grow and develop, and if the pace that we've been working at is sustainable. So
we'll see if we all don't like just crash from exhaustion because everybody has a whole new project that they're going to start because they had a good idea. But
exactly.
It's a cool thing, as long as you apply your own mask before applying other people's masks, then it's a healthy thing. It's just a bunch of tiny projects that you get to hang out with your new friends with and talk about things that you like, such as, the metamorphosis in D&D.
Exactly.
Yeah. But no, it's cool. I'm always a little nervous that I'm not doing enough because everybody's got like these cool projects going on. But I was like, man, I got kids. I ain't got no time. I got full-time job, with like long hours. But so hopefully you guys don't think that too.
No, I think that's part of the trust and the vulnerability is just coming together and bringing what you can and feeling like you're an equal and contributing member of the group. I think it's important for all of us to understand our own boundaries. I think that's something that I'm learning and exploring as well, is trying to figure out like what I can give. And I think if you're clear about that, and we all do the same thing, and I think that feels safer, right? When we all trust that we're not imposing on other people more than we should. I think that creates a safe space for everyone. And yeah. I feel like everyone tries to communicate clearly about what they're able to do and what they're not able to do, and that feels really good.
That's real good. Yeah, it does feel like a safe space too. For now, right? This is the start of the movie. This is the start of the movie where we're all crashed on the island, and we're like, "This is perfect. Plenty of coconuts, plenty of friendly crabs, and we're all eating it." Until somebody steps on somebody else's crab they were going to eat that night. Right? Tensions flare, friendships crumble, lovers departed, and everything just crashes. So, it's like a Lord of the Flies situation. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But like, there's always something in the back of my mind that's just like, it's like, be careful.
Really?
No, don't do that, boys. My least favorite is the D4. No, but it's like because it does feel like a good thing. It's like I'm honestly surprised that it happened, so it feels like at any point somebody might pluck it out of existence real fast. Um, so hopefully everybody's got good karma and that does not happen.
That's very, very interesting because you're not the first person who has expressed something like that, where it feels like things are too good and you're waiting. Is it waiting for the other shoe to drop?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't get that feeling at all. I'm like, yeah, this is great. We're
That's good.
gonna be
That's good.
wonderful.
Then
We're
you
gonna be
probably
friends
won't be the
forever.
problem. No. And I'm optimistic despite my negativity, right? I see that as like, oh, that's just you doing your same bullshit. It's probably totally fine. So I do firmly believe that this can be nothing but success. Like um that's why, and at the very least we got new friends and we get to
Yeah.
play some D&D for a while, so that's good. That's a win in my book.
Yeah, I would say, the best thing to keep people from becoming resentful is looking inward, trying to see what your time boundaries are, expressing those, being firm about those, and making sure that whatever you're doing is sustainable.
Yeah.
I think if everybody can do that, I think it's going to be good. I think that's the
Yeah,
key. Yeah.
that is the key. Just everybody be somebody that everybody else would like to date. It's magic, y'all. Just seven of the coolest people happen to cross each other, and we're just like, somebody here is not badass, and I'm gonna find out which fucking one it is. Because you're all too cute and too kind and too friendly, and you're making me feel included, and I don't like it. Right? Somebody's hiding something. So yeah,
There's something sinister and foreboding
it,
lingering.
yeah. It's a good problem to have, I suppose. How long are these? How long are these episodes?
Oh, we've totally gone over. We've gone
Oh,
20 minutes over, and I'm
oh.
gonna wrap it up. So,
Wait, we have to start nodding and pausing, pregnant pauses.
yeah, yeah. So
Uh-huh.
I love the
They,
group.
yeah, oh yeah,
Great
no,
group.
yeah, they're great. I just think everybody's been super super nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, anyway, that's
yeah.
our show. Um, no, it's been great talking to you. Sorry if I got you know off the rails a little bit, but it's fun.
No, as I've learned, I've gotten some feedback, and it's to let it go off the rails.
Well, it goes off the rails if I'm on the train, and that's always going to be true.
So, yeah, everybody, thank you so much
Ah,
for
thanks.
joining us for tea time, and we will see you next time. Have a great evening.
Cheers.